braving the elements to come to the 15th Annual Fred Award. I'm Mitch Bernard, Fred Ebb's nephew and godchild. And I'm delighted to welcome all of you here tonight. The Fred Ebb Foundation, which was established under the terms of my uncle's will, has two purposes. One is to give annual contributions to Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS. Especially at a time like this, when there's a considerable amount of at least federal government cruelty and indifference to vulnerable people, it seems to me very, very important to just spread goodness in the world. Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS does that every day. They support programs that mitigate the suffering of individuals and families who are affected by HIV and AIDS and other critical health issues. They work on a range of other issues, including workplace safety, and they provide services to seniors and meal delivery to people in need. And so my uncle, I'm very proud that my uncle told me to make these annual contributions from the royalties from the intellectual property that he created. We started in 2005 with a gift of $300,000, and we've increased that amount each year. And I'm happy to say that tonight we're giving our single largest annual gift so far, in the amount of $2.3 million. Wow. So over the 15 years, we've now contributed $19.8 million.
Wow.
And my uncle would be very, very pleased and proud, which pleases me. The second thing the foundation does is the reason we've gathered here tonight, which is to bestow an annual award for musical theater songwriting. And under the terms, again, of my uncle's will, the award is to go to a talented writer or writing team that has the promise of creating meaningful and innovative works for the musical theater. This year there were 229 applicants for the award. We got it down to 6 finalists. Then we got the group of 6 down to 2 and could not choose between the 2 of them. So for the first time this year, we have 2 winners. Thrilled to welcome Angela Sclafani and Benjamin Velez. Into the circle of Ebb Award winners, and many of our past winners are here tonight to celebrate Angela and Benjamin. Each of them will receive a check for $60,000. And this piece of student glass. My uncle was something of a collector of student glass. He also, collected abstract expressionist art, but he loved student glass and had a considerable collection of it. So it's particularly appropriate, I think, to give the winners a piece of student glass. He left his student glass collection to my cousin Carol, which I don't want to say anything further about that. I do want to thank, what he gave to me was the privilege of collecting his ongoing royalties and giving them to aspiring songwriters and Broadway Cares. And that means more to me than any material gift could possibly mean. I want to thank a few people who have made this possible. Rachel Sussman and J.P. Mercanti, who went through all of the applications and helped us pick the 6 finalists. And then the selection panel, which made the selection of Angela and Benjamin, Sheldon Harnick, David Loud, Montego Glover, and Kirsten Scott. Thanks for Thanks to Tim Pinkney, a wonderful playwright and writer who produces this event every year and just does it beautifully, and he was a very good buddy of my uncle as well. So thank you, Tim. And I also want to thank my beautiful daughter, Hannah, who is now becoming involved with the foundation, and because we really want to continue the family involvement in the foundation, and we hope that it will last and we'll be able to be generous for many years to come. Finally, the 2 people I want to thank most, John Kander, who I am humble and proud to say is my friend, and he calls me his business partner, which I'm also proud to be. He's snowed in upstate, so he's not here tonight. But for those of you who have the privilege of knowing John, you know that he's just one of the most wonderful people that I've ever had the pleasure of knowing. And I'm grateful to him for his enormous talent and what he and my uncle were able to create, and also for just who he is as a person, as a friend. And then finally, of course, my uncle. My uncle was a fantastic lyric writer. But I think he was even a better uncle than he was a lyric writer. He was really just a terrific uncle in every way. And had he never done anything that he did in writing or with the Ebb Foundation, I would love him forever. And so one of the pleasures of the foundation work for me is that it keeps me connected to him, keeps me close to him. And that's a very wonderful thing for me. I want to just quote one of his lyrics. And, you know, I thought of one of the cynical lyrics from Chicago, which would certainly be apt today. But I decided to sort of go the other route. I mean, there's enough darkness around. And so I found a lyric that I think is just very upbeat and affirmative, which I want to read an excerpt of it. It's from 70 Girls 70, a Candyman show, and it's a song called Yes. There's mink and marigold right outside, and long white Cadillacs you can ride, but nothing's gained if there's nothing tried. Say yes. Don't say why, say why not. What lies beyond what is not. So what? There's lots of chaff, but there's lots of wheat. You may get mugged as you walk the street, but on the other hand, you might greet that handsome stranger you've longed to meet. Say yes. You can't look back on a chance that's lost. The dice mean nothing unless they're tossed. The throw is usually worth the cost. The hope of summer denies the frost. Say yes. And I think of that these days when you know, I read the news or look around, and I think of it tonight because there's a hopefulness in recognizing and honoring and encouraging young writers who are poised to create meaningful, memorable works for the stage, and that's what brings us together tonight. So in order to present the award, I'm very happy to introduce Kate Baldwin. Kate is a co-starred in the recent revival of Hello, Dolly, for which she received Tony, Drama Desk, Outer Critics Circle Award nominations. Her other Broadway credits include The Full Monty, Thoroughly Modern Millie, Wonderful Town, Finian's Rainbow, for which she was also nominated for a Tony, and Big Fish. She has extensive West End and off-Broadway and regional credits, which I won't go into. She was featured in the recorded version of Kander and Ebb's First You Dream, and she helped us select the award winner a few years ago. So it is my privilege and pleasure to introduce Kate Baldwin.
1998, and it is my pleasure, my honor, to present the Fred Ebb Award to two deserving young up-and-comers in the musical theater world. And as my friend Sheldon Hart always says, if you're going to ad-lib, write it down. So I have. I can trace significant formative life experiences to songs by Fred Ebb and his brilliant writing partner, John Kander. They are songs which provided me hope in a world that was much bigger than me, a thing we need to hear more about these days. The first was when my senior high school trip came to New York from snowy Wisconsin on our spring break. It was maybe much to our teacher's surprise that so many of us wanted to see The Kiss of the Spider Woman, but we all sprinted to TKTS to buy our balcony seats, unaware of what lay in store for us. I instantly became completely enamored of the show. I bought the CD, the full-color program, the hat, the keychain, the fridge magnet, you name it, I was hooked. And when I came home, I told my mother that I had just seen the best thing I'd ever seen, the best night of theater I had ever witnessed. And you know what? I was right. It was. The story combined two seemingly disparate worlds, one of terrible cruelty with one of true kindness. And it did it so expertly that I was totally enthralled. And on top of that, it was impossibly glamorous and larger than life. And for a kid from the Midwest who dreamed of being on Broadway, the lyrics were my innermost desires. So close your eyes and you become a movie star. Why must you stay where you are? Kander and Ebb had a brand new fan in me, and it made me curious about the bigger world around me. Isn't that what the best art does? My senior year of college, I was asked to sing at my graduation ceremony from Northwestern University, and the song choice seemed to me to be so simple, so obvious. I chose A Quiet Thing by my favorite duo because the idea of holding the world in your trembling hand felt like a threshold moment, stepping from one phase of life into the next. Do you hear bells, drums, fires? No, it's quiet. And it felt right to me and hopeful. And then about 10 years ago, David Loud asked me to join him in concert. That led to another, which led to another, and eventually we filmed a PBS special called First You Dream. It was my first chance to work on a Kander and Ebb song. Among the many songs David assigned to me was one that terrified me. How could I ever tackle a song that was introduced to the world by Liza Minnelli and lifted into the stratosphere by Frank Sinatra? I'm talking, of course, about New York, New York. David reassured me, as he always does. And the minute I heard his arrangement, I discovered the song's story anew. It was as though something I thought I knew had reinvented itself right in front of me. If I can make it there, I'd make it anywhere. Here was the big world and all around me, and hope was tucked right inside. So I gathered all my courage and through a series of, to go to rehearsal, and through a series of unfortunate events, I arrived at rehearsal with my sleepy 4-year-old son in tow. So I put 2 folding chairs together so that he could sleep while I sang. And what made things more embarrassing was that John Kander came to rehearsal that day to listen. And he sat right next to my sleeping child, smiling generously all the while. And after my flop sweat subsided and I finished the song, John said, "Well, I really liked it, but I don't think he did." Gee, I hope Fred liked it too. And I thank them for the gift of reinvention and a song that stands the test of time and the test of a performer. The world is big indeed, and all the more hopeful because of their love and light. I never got to meet him, but Fred Ebb's work has touched my life and left its indelible, hopeful mark. I'm so grateful to be here tonight to remember him and to continue his meaningful legacy of telling stories through song. It is my honor to present the Fred Ebb Award tonight to our 2 winners, Angela Sclafani and Benjamin Velez.
everyone has been asking me how I feel about winning this award, and I want to just use Fred Ebb's words, which Kate actually quoted from the same song, and I think that it just shows the power of these beautiful words. They're simple, but I think they encapsulate exactly how I feel. When it all comes true just the way you planned, it's funny, but the bells don't ring. It's a quiet thing. And that is how I feel. It's sort of a personal experience to win something like this. I've been asking myself a question for the past year because I'm also a performer, so I did the thing of like my audition book and going and like putting it down and it's wonderful but I just kept thinking that I was in the wrong place, and I kept asking myself, what does the world and the industry need from me? And every time I went in for something like Cinderella or all of the ingenues, it was beautiful, but I didn't think that was actually what was needed from me. And when I started to share more of my music, I was getting a response that people really wanted to hear what I had to say, and they felt like other people should hear it too. So that was really exciting, and it brought me to where I am right now. I want to continue the legacy of Candor and Ebb in choosing these strong, complex female characters that they have, like in Chicago and Flora the Red Menace. And I'm really excited to do so, and I can't wait to. I want to thank the Fred Ebb Foundation, the selection committee, Mitch and Kim for everything they've done for tonight, Kate, and my collaborators who have believed in me so much when I did not know if I could keep doing this. I barely called myself a composer a year ago, so it's pretty wild to be up here accepting this award. So especially Hunter, Macy, they just really pushed me to shoot for the stars, and it's been a privilege to work with them. My family, they're so supportive. We're from Staten Island, so they're all here. And they're always there, and they've been there through every chorus concert. And their favorite thing that I feel like I finally have outdone was when I was Annie. I was 16, but I was Annie. And they just could not get enough of it. So I feel like truly I might have done it. I also want to thank my incredible friends who are here tonight, who have supported me and talked me through every anxiety attack. Every time I was like, should I have been a lawyer? Should I be this or that? Like, I've had many different thoughts as to what maybe I should do instead of this, but they have supported me and continue to support me, and that is why I am able to do what I love to do. I've been creating my voice for the past couple of years, and I want to continue to give voice and space to passionate women, and I'm so grateful that I've been given this gift and I can do that now. So thank you all for being here.
She added most of that, which I cannot do, so I will be reading. Thank you to the Fred Ebb Foundation for this beyond incredible honor. Thank you to the selection panel and to Mitch Bernard, whose number I still have in my phone from when he called me to tell me I was a finalist 7 years ago. Thank you to my mother for supporting me unconditionally since I was a fetus. And to my husband, Brice, who is not here because he is a mathematician working in Germany right now, but who knows the lyrics to my songs better than I do, even though he's only seen one Broadway show. I'm excited to be a co-winner with Angela. You are an immense talent, and it's an honor to get to share this award with you. I first got involved with musicals when I was 6 years old, and I played the role of Oliver at the JCC. My mother helped me memorize all the lyrics by ear, and I had to take speech therapy in order to get rid of my lisp. The next year, I got cast as Winthrop in The Music Man. That's a great room. I was worried no one would get that joke. And had to learn to lisp all over again. lyricist who packed in so much depth while making it seem effortless. It's humbling to be part of his legacy when he is one of the writers I aspire to emulate. In Cabaret, Kander and Ebb took one of the darkest moments in history and turned it into a story that is as much a raucous celebration as it is a tragedy, combining entertainment with pathos in a way that invited people into a conversation. The songs I submitted in my application came from my show Borderline, which I'm writing with book writer Ariana Garber, who's here. The show explores borderline personality disorder and what it's like to struggle every day with an incurable illness. It's definitely not the Book of Mormon sequel, but the show itself is comedic, and the two songs you'll hear today are attempts to emulate what Fred did with Cabaret, to take a difficult subject, but use the magic of musical theater writing to invite the audience into a character's mind and help them see through their eyes. I want to give an extra thank you to Ariana. Thank you for being so brave and open about your own experience with BPD, for sharing your sarcasm and your wit, for inspiring me to write the songs I submitted this year. The humorous way you talk about your illness is the exact kind of storytelling that moves me the most, finding hope and light inside of our demons. I have so many people here today who have supported me over the years by paying for my dinners, inviting me for holidays when I couldn't afford to fly home to Miami, by listening to terrible demo recordings where I transpose my voice up an octave and sound like a chipmunk to sing the female characters. They've never stopped encouraging me and wanting to be at the next reading, the next concert, always making me feel like I should keep going. And lastly, it's really special that for me that the Ebb Foundation gives to Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS and that they are here tonight. I was lucky to be a part of the Next Gen board that Broadway Cares started 2 years ago before having to take a hiatus because I had to make a living. But I think now that I'm getting this award, I can start giving back more than I could before. But it was eye-opening to realize how privileged I am to be part of a generation of gay men who aren't living in fear of the disease. I also learned how much I took for granted that it was a problem of the past, when in fact there are still so many suffering with it. Thank you to the Foundation for being such a huge supporter of everything Broadway Cares does, and thank you again for everyone for being here.
I'm going to be presenting 2 songs for you with some help. So the first song is going to be a medley of Zelda Fitzgerald and S. Scott Fitzgerald meeting. I have a musical that is still in development called The Other Side of Paradise. And I was in it, so I will be reprising my role, as will Jesse Weil. And I have this incredible 2 musicians here that are helping me out, Macy Schmidt on piano, Emma Ford on percussion. And so to set the scene, this is the moment where they first met in the dance hall in Alabama in 1917.
I'm a little notorious in Montgomery, Alabama. I've been around with all these boys before and sent them all out the door 'cause they bore me. And I don't deserve to be born, but who's that across the floor? And it's innocent dancing in Alabama. I'm sure if I look a little bit more, he'll look back.
Can't believe I've been stationed in Montgomery, Alabama. There's not much to do in this little town, and every girl wants to settle down. I might drown if I stay in this room for a while, but then I catch her smile at this innocent dance in Alabama. It's all worthwhile. I try to move her style, and I tap her back. Excuse me, but I think I'd like to meet you. Hey, excuse me, but if you would move your feet to this tune and fall into me.
child. But I've reconciled that when I go it's up and out. I need more than a charming pout. Away, that's the pearl. Away, but things are much more complex in this father-mother world for a girl. And I have got my own desires. I need a life that will inspire. Do you want to know what it's like? Want to know what it's like? Living in a little town where everybody holds you down. It's boredom on fire. I'm an elephant on a wire. I can't just run away, but I need to go. So when I run away, I need to know that where I run away, I will have a name, and then I'll run. Maybe if you tried, maybe if you showed, maybe if you have success, maybe then I'd go.
From my song cycle, which I did in September at 3142, and Desi Oakley is going to help me out. I just want to say a little bit about it. This is a song cycle about passionate women, and they're singing love songs from themselves to their work. Sort of wanted to redefine the love song, so it could be love and passion for one's creativity, and what really makes someone live their life. So this is about Lillian Bland. She was one of the first women to build and fly her own plane. She called this plane her Mayfly because she wasn't sure if it was actually going to fly. And this woman was actually really incredible. She was a writer, she was a horseback rider, she a reporter, she did many things, but she was also a person that built an airplane fluid. So this is from Lillian Bland to her airplane.
Spruce, bamboo, fabric and wire, the bones I built you with, so you could fly and take me up when you go. And I felt a wind before, a rush of course, I need one skin floor, from gravity's force, still take me, I wanna go.
Okay, I am excited to share 2 songs from my show Borderline. It is the story of Anna, a girl who's always struggled to find stability in a world that feels like it's never had a place for her. Anna has dropped out of college and is working a series of dead-end jobs while being court-ordered to live with her father and see a therapist after a drunk and disorderly arrest. We later discover that Anna has borderline personality disorder, but the songs you see occur pre-diagnosis. Okay, so to set the stage, after a brief prologue, we meet Anna at a dive bar. She was fired earlier that day and is not in the best place, but while everything seems to be going wrong, she's still a hopeless romantic and is trying to at least make an effort to meet someone. Sarah Lynn Marion will be playing Anna, and Matt DeLaw will play several different characters she meets at the bar, so you'll see him changing hats. And my music director, David Gardos, is on the piano.
Can I buy you a drink?
By drink, do you mean I listen to you talk about your startup and then we maybe have sex and then you never call me again? Wait. Talk about the weather, lovely weather, wonder whether it'll last. Unlike my cousin June, who passed away but way too soon, last week in fact. I should have gone to visit her before she died. I really tried but couldn't get a ride down to Virginia. Virginia Woolf, I love her, she's my favorite, but she's also dead. She killed herself, the voices in her head just said to do it. I often think of suicide. Wanna split the guacamole? I'm gonna die alone. I scare off every guy that comes my way. Always have a stupid thing to say, like, is that really your hair? Or a toupee? I'm gonna die alone. I'd rather fake a coma than converse, cause everything I say comes out perverse. I might as well be living in a hearse, cause I'm gonna die alone. Jessica! Oh, it has been so long, I thought you were dead.
I may as well be to you.
Why? What did I do?
You slept with my brother? Crashed my dad's car.
Okay, it was your stepbrother.
Bye, Anna.
I'm the pariah. A few times you're a bitch, then one by one they ditch you. And then there's dating. I'm 69 and oh, ironic, yes, I know. Can't help despising many, socializing. I make Xanax with my Captain Crunch, and then again with lunch. I think I've got a hunch. I'm gonna die alone. Talking to myself 3 whiskeys in, waiting for a life that won't begin. Someone cue the sad-ass violin.
Hey, aren't you Sarah's friend? I think we met at that party.
Right, that party.
So?
So?
Are you a dog or a cat person?
Okay, I can do small talk. Puppies, I love puppies, they're so cuddly and soft. Oh, which reminds me of this one time back in college playing softball. I was catcher and I loved to feel the glove around my hand. It was leather and it made me think of Silence of the Lambs. You know, the way he used to use the skin and wear it, kind of scary. I think I've seen that movie 40 times, not because I like it or don't like it. I mean, how did I get to this from puppies? No, wait. I can do this. Happy thoughts, unicorns, rainbows, smiling kids. And aren't kids the cutest, always laughing? I like laughing, but it's hard when they are cryers, oh, and screamers like my baby cousin Carrie, like the movie Carrie, Bloody Scary Carrie, which reminds me of this video online comparing vampires from True Blood to vampires from Buffy, which is dumb because I like witches better. Eastwick, not the Salem kind. The Salem trials were fucked. I mean, those little girls were shits. So kids are cute. That's it? You're leaving? You barely got to know me. Please sit. I'm sorry. I need someone to show me what to say. I ramble. I know it's gonna be coming, but my thoughts are scrambled. This whole thing is mind-numbingly absurd. I'm doing worse with every word. No, wait, don't leave! I'm sick of failing, pretending I belong. There must be something wrong with me. I keep on trying, but something's gotta give, or what is there to live for? I need affection, or at least a connection. Cause what happens when I take a fall, and no one cares to call, cause no one cares at all? Then I'd really die alone, like my mother died alone. Doesn't every every person want the same? Someone to confide in free of shame, who likes to say I love you within my name. I'm tired of prescriptions being late. I'm tired of regretting every date. I'm tired of the fear that my fate is sealed in stone. 'Cause I don't wanna die alone.
Okay, so we skip ahead a few months, and Anna has actually met a guy named Jesse, although it was in the waiting room of her therapist's office. Jessie immediately falls for Anna's acerbic wit, but she isn't used to getting attention from guys and has played hard to get thus far. This is their third time meeting in the waiting room, and finally Jessie decides to make a move, while Anna plans to make him work for it.
Wanna go out with me on Monday? Maybe a beer while we both rant. We can hypothesize how one day robots will kill us all.
I can't.
Okay, wanna go out with me on Tuesday? I know a bar with chess and cheese. And every week it's country blues day, so we can square dance.
Not a chance.
Please.
I'm busy.
Fine. Wednesday, how about some sci-fi trivia karaoke?
I'd rather kill myself.
Okie dokie. Wednesday!
I'll be in bed by 7 o'clock. Don't ask, it's serious.
Not a big deal, I like mysterious. How about going out on Thursday? I know a French cafe nearby.
No, merci.
Make it a Madame Monsieur Day. We can give Escalo a try.
Pass.
Wanna go out?
I'm not explore the town.
Wanna go out?
I'm more than keep it down, girl.
Come on, what does that even mean?
I'd rather stay in and read my Dickens, be someone else just for a while. Gasp at the plot each time it thickens. Maybe I'll even crack a smile. Go ahead and call me party pooper. Feel free to blame it on my pills, but I must say you're quite the trooper. By now the other guys would have fled for the hills. Someday maybe I could be Miss Piggy to a Kermit, but for now I'll stay a hermit.
Who
Someday.
cares about someday? I'm asking for Thursday.
Yes, I get it.
Why don't you let me?
Try and let it go.
No.
I'd rather stay in isolation where I don't worry what I say. So to avoid cancellation, I'm gonna tell you no today. I'm not going out.
I'm not the give up.
I'm not
easy
going
guy.
out.
I'll be your light and breezy guy. So what about Indian food?
Too spicy.
Singing an opera?
Way too pricey.
Maybe be ice skate.
Too icy.
Seriously?
I'm not into cold.
A trip to the sauna.
Ugh, too sweaty.
Eavesdrop on tourists for fun.
Too petty.
Italian restaurant.
I don't like spaghetti.
Who doesn't like spaghetti?
Me.
Playing some mini golf.
Getting colder.
Museum of sex.
Okay, that's colder.
Movies and
My
popcorn.
head on your shoulder?
Yeah.
You're getting warmer.
I'm learning. Maybe it's better than on Friday. Hang in our PJs, watch TV. We'll love it, chocolate chips and party. Snuggling up, just you and me. What do you say?
I'm not a chocolate chip
What do you
girl.
say?
Not a relationship girl. I don't have a clue of what I'm doing, what I'm feeling. All this movement has me reeling. Into cosmic heights of high anxiety. Grateful I reject sobriety.
Need is an
Need a coffin.
What if we slow this down for a minute? We don't go out or in just yet. Stay in the waiting room to begin it. See how it goes from there, and I'll make a bet. Sooner or later I'll seduce you. Who could resist a guy like me?
Me.
On the way to die.
I'm not your dreams come true girl. I'm more the tame the shrew girl. Okay, I'll take your bet.
So next week, right here?
It's a date.
So thanks to all the singers and the musicians. Thanks to Billy Stritch for the Cantor and Ebb music. Congratulations to Angela and Benjamin, very, very deserving winners of the 2019 Fred Ebb Award. And thank you all for coming. Feel free to hang around. We have the room until 8 o'clock. So